Richard Ashworth has studied Feng Shui for the past 20 years.
People tend to think, for some reason, that they can do Feng Shui in an afternoon. You know, they can do the long hour-and-a-half course, and they know how to do it, and it's not so.
The extent to which the outside of a house can influence how you feel inside was apparent when Richard visited the South London home of Michelle Roberts. For 18 years, she'd felt unsettled and agitated in her house, and Richard's diagnosis was startling simply from the exterior of the property.
The visual thing, the thing that you get immediately visually, is this here. A Chinese master would call that heaven chop, which is too close together for the elevation. It's dark. This is a no-go area, so it would suggest that these people here are not the closest of neighbours. The odds are that this is the most important detail of the house before I've even gone in. Also, the paint is blistering. The white colour is metal, which is to do with the father. So what you've got is some sort of a dispute on some level. There's something that's not solved, that's not complete. I would be very surprised if it's a nuclear family.
He can tell all that just from the outside.
I'm scared.
Can't wait for him to go in.
I am so scared.
This is always drawn, but the yellow colour creates a darkness, a dimness, a heaviness that is at odds with the life-giving green that wants to come in. Now, on the outside of the toilet here is what I'd call a bagua mirror. That's an eight-sided mirror. It's used in Feng Shui to ward things off. People use them indoors and they shouldn't. They're very, very powerful. What this is doing, presumably, is to deal with the poisonous qi of the toilet. That's probably the idea. What it's actually doing is sending people away.
I thought you could have them indoors. They say in the books that you can have them indoors.
It will not be positive in terms of relationship, and the yin is in charge. I think we've got a bruised romantic here. So, not cynical, not given up, trying very hard, but certainly bruised, yeah.
Oh, that is just, I want to underline that. And big red, look at that, I'm going around that. That's me.
Someone here is sleeping with their head over a stagnant gap. That qi is coming up through here. In terms of sleeping, maybe not feeling rested when she gets up. If that alleyway is dealt with, loved, maintained, cared for, given life, that's probably 90% of the job here.
Look after that alleyway.
Yeah.
But that has always caused me a problem.
The house itself lacks metal. What it speaks of is uneasy relationship between man and woman.
That is interesting.
This is just a way of putting in symbols how your life needs to move. It's your choice. You are responsible. These are all reflections of where you're at. There's not a question of this causes that. It's a question of the same choice, changing this house and changing your life.
But Richard felt that until the outside was dealt with, the inside wouldn't change.
But this here is the heaven chop that we've discussed lots of times. It's substantially in the southwest. It's unpleasant.
It's horrible.
And you sleep sort of over those coal hole things. It would be not getting on well with these neighbours.
Which is true.
2 years ago, Gina and Graham moved into what they thought was their dream family house. Since then, however, they've not felt welcome in their own home. When Richard visited their home, he sensed that there was no evidence of the natural energy that surrounds the house being contained, and this would cause problems.
First thing you'd notice is there's not what's called a dragon claw, which is something to hold the qi in. So the qi or energy is coming from here, down this way, all the way down there. So what it requires is a hedge or a fence, at least 4 foot high, so that they're hanging on to what's theirs. There is a break here. This suggests a man who's not here a lot.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What?
He's probably a serious traveller, probably successful, probably clever, probably creative, financially and in other ways, but not here a great deal. And what the house wants is for him to be here a lot more.
They must know. They must have been briefed.
This has spooked him now. They haven't, Graham. They haven't.
And upstairs, Richard had even more interesting revelations.
This room again it's not settled. Whoever's here hasn't really arrived. All of this stuff could be moved in minutes. That's the impression of it. All the love in this house is focused in Evie's room. And the true love area is sort of there. There's probably a bit of it here. I'd have to do the fine-tuning to work it out. This is a place where relationship is waiting to happen, where commitment hasn't really started. My guess is there are exes in the picture. He may even be a widower in addition. Those are the sort of things the numbers say to me.
Oh my God.
Do you?
Yeah, I have 3 other children.
Oh wow.
He's charming, probably good-looking, very likeable guy, but very frightened. It's that sort of fear, the fear of really, really being committed, being rooted to the spot and saying, right, this is what we do, this is where we stand. I'm committed to this, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not going anywhere else.
How do you feel about that?
Upset me.
Does it?
It doesn't really matter whether they commit to this house or another house. That's just geography. They need to commit to each other, and then they could live in a caravan, it would be fine.
Sometimes you don't want to hear it when you know sometimes a lot of it's true. But it's quite interesting that he's talking so much about Graham and not me, and I have the biggest problem in that room.
Buddhas can protect the house, but they must be correctly positioned in order to gain effect. Alleyways, if unattended, can harbour negative energy, so these must be kept clean and clear.
I put this Goemuden shape here. It's a good neighbour shape, and that will deal with a lot of the external negative energies that have been going in. This whole thing.